It sound right, boy.
What's going on, guys? How you doing? Welcome back to Four Fight Fans. Thank you so much for watching. This is our 4th episode. I'm joined, as always, with Masood, Master Masood, our voice of reason, currently a blue belt in BJJ, and MJ, our Twitter correspondent. He's our go-to guy for the Twitterverse, and Sam, our very own version of bad guy. How you doing, everybody?
What's up?
Let's
get started.
All right,
What's up, everybody? Let's go.
This week, we're going to be covering a lot of stuff that's coming up. So 2021, all the fights are about to begin. And we're going to be talking about the Holloway Kattar card that's coming up. We're going to be talking about the McGregor fight that's coming up the weekend after that. We're going to be talking about a stacked UFC 259 card. We're going to be talking about some of the new stuff that's happening in the UFC, including broadcasting and tickets that are being sold in Abu Dhabi right now. And also we're going to cover some other little things on Twitter. But before we get into all that, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Give us a thumbs up. It all helps out so much. Thank you so much. So let us get into it, guys. All right. So I cannot wait. Basically, we've been waiting for about 4 weeks, and we've been kind of like counting down the days until fights begin. I know it was a festive time or it was a holiday time, but nothing gets us more excited than fights. So this fight that's coming up this weekend, his fight card is Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar or Kattar. I don't know how you want to say it.
Kattar.
But yeah, I think it's Kattar.
Calvin Kattar.
Well, half of the fighters, commentators, half of them say Kattar, half of them say Qatar. So I think whatever.
I don't know. I'm gonna say Kattar. Sounds better.
Well, if the guy was from Middle East, maybe Qatar would make sense. But
the guy is definitely not
guy's
from
white.
the Middle East. He's from as American as you get.
Yeah, he's an all-American fighter.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying if he was Middle Eastern, maybe Qatar would make sense. It's Kattar.
Yeah. So. Anyway, so I'm excited for this fight. Max Holloway, it's his. I don't know. I guess you could call it a redemption fight. I wouldn't, but you have to in a sense because he's coming off of 2 losses from the champ, and this is his way of getting back into it and getting back into the conversation, taking out a very, very top contender in Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar has basically gone through pretty much everyone else in the division. Less the top 5, and he's looked great. I mean, even in his fight with Zabit, which he lost on a decision, he looked fantastic towards the end. And had that fight gone 5 rounds, I think Calvin Kattar would have won that because he was coming on strong. Zabit was fading. And I think Calvin Kattar is going to do really well. Although this this fight is also going to be a 5-rounder. So,
yeah. And not many people do that good against Zabit, right? So
yeah, I mean Zabit is one of the most hyped guys in the division that can't get a fight, and Calvin Kattar has fought him, and we have seen, we have clips on that, and it's a very intriguing fight to begin with. But Max Holloway, where do you guys go from here with him? Is he gonna show us what made him the champ in the first place, or is he gonna struggle in this one? Given the styles of Calvin Kattar and what he brings into the octagon.
I'm just super excited. It feels amazing, man. Max Holloway's fighting in 4 days, and it's just I don't know about you guys, but I'm super.
You're super fan.
Well, obviously I'm a fan. Like, how you gonna hate this guy? But I mean, I'm just super excited.
No, he's a good fighter. He's just not lucky with the
amazing fighter.
Yeah, he's not lucky with the
good fighter.
He's not lucky with the referee, but
Yeah, his last fight was very unfortunate, man. I don't know about you guys, but I thought he had it against.
Oh yeah, for sure. As they called it last time, Robbie of the decade.
And man, that was unfortunate.
Yeah.
I thought maybe that should have been a draw, so he could have gotten a rematch. I don't know, man. Yeah. But I'm very excited for him for this fight. I hope I'm backing for Max Holloway. I hope he wins. I think he's gonna come out ferocious. And I said it in the last week. I think he's gonna outclass Calvin Kattar. Yeah. So we'll see.
for sure.
But Calvin Kattar is he's incredible. He's boxing, he's striking. It's just on a different level. But I think there's levels to this game, and Max Holloway is gonna, put on a performance of the night.
Put on
Absolutely.
a
And
clinic.
the guy is only not even 30 yet, right? So to be at that level before you even get to your peak, or if you want to say like your prime, he's not even 30 yet. So there's just so much to come from this guy. But I was gonna ask you guys a question. Let's say Holloway wins. What do you see next for him? Does he go straight back to the title shot, or I'm not sure if this is announced yet, but they're talking about Brian Ortega versus
Volkanovski.
Yeah. Do you see that happening? And then Holloway, maybe if he wins, going after.
That's most likely happening.
What's gonna happen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Volkanovski himself came and pretty much called out Ortega, saying he's next and he's gonna get the next title shot.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much sure that they're gonna fight out with Ortega, and it would probably benefit Max if Ortega wins.
For sure, yeah.
If Ortega beats Volkanovski, then it's Max Ortega right away. No questions asked.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Ortega will beat Volkanovski. I'm pretty
We don't know
confident on that.
Hey,
I
man.
think so. But in point of Calvin Kattar and Max Holloway, if we want to kind of go to the details, I think Max Holloway is a better fighter overall, and he comes with a good volume. Like he throws, like he's a busy fighter usually. Like you never see him waiting for a counter or something like that. He is always busy fighter. The only thing, like overall, I think he's like he has more. Even though it's more of a 50-50 thing, but I think he has more chance. There's only one, if you want to call it, hole in this game. When he comes with big volume, sometimes, especially when he goes for the combinations, he leaves his guard open. So Calvin Kattar, I'm not saying he's gonna knock him out, but he has that one punch power. So if he caught him through those combinations, he can finish the fight. So if the fight goes 5 rounds, for sure Max Holloway is gonna win the fight, because he's a busy fighter compared to Calvin Kattar, and overall maybe he's a better fighter. But if the fight wants to finish earlier, I think Calvin Kattar has more chance. Like if he can caught him in through a combination or something, yeah, he can win the fight.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Calvin Kattar definitely has more power than Holloway, for sure, in his hands. And Kattar obviously would want to get into the boxing range, would want to get up close, want to make this, a dirty fight, a close range fight. And Holloway would have to do what he does best, in distance control, keeping it technical, peppering him, keeping on the outside, try to, limit that reach. Calvin Kattar does have I want to say, a decent range, he has a decent reach. He's not necessarily short in a sense like Volkanovski.
And he's smart. He knows how to use it too.
So it's going to be a tough
boxing
distance
is really
control battle in that sense. And considering it is in Fight Island, the octagon is going to be bigger. Holloway can stay on the outside, can manage his distance well. If that fight had been in Vegas, it's possible that Kattar would have gotten closer, gotten into more clean situations, more dirty boxing situations, and would have probably cut him up and damaged him a lot.
Yeah, but nonetheless, we got 2 great strikers with really good boxing. We're gonna see a good fight. It's gonna be one of those like back and forth.
Yeah, and we've seen Calvin Kattar go the distance in 5-round fights a couple of times in the past.
Oh yeah.
So I think he has a gas tank for it.
He has a gas tank. He has a chin. He has heart. He has it all to go at one very tough fight for Max Holloway. But for Max, this is basically what he wants. He wants the toughest challenge. He wants to still stay at the top, stay relevant, do not show anybody that he's out of the picture by any means, which I don't think he is. And we're going to see a good technical performance by him.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for that fight. Let's go into the co-main event. It is not necessarily a headline co-main event, but this fight carries a little nostalgia, if you will. And
it would have been if it was if it happened like I don't know, I would say like 6 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to make this fight a lot. It was very similar in a Khabib, Tony-esque kind of situation. They tried to make this fight several times, but, it didn't happen in their prime, but it's happening a little bit past their prime, I would say. Carlos Conduit has recently returned, and we saw him fight a few months ago, and he looked great. I thought, sure, he would have been out of the octagon for a long time, and there was a bit of rustiness, but he came on, in the later parts of that fight, and he really showed a little bit of the Carlos of old, and he was looking fantastic. Matt Brown, what can you say about Matt Brown? What a veteran, right? Like, that guy has been in there, done that, been in there with the toughest of guys, and still standing strong. And Carlos Conduit, Matt Brown is going to be a very interesting fight. Some fighters that are perhaps past their best, but still have a lot to offer in terms of MMA and in the UFC.
Nice fight, really nice fight. If you remember, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Aldo and stuff like that, Tony and stuff like that. That's what I said. I said it's much better if you put two. I'm not saying old fighter, but two people that have been there for a long time. It's much better when you put those two against each other because then you cannot easily predict the fight, and also it's going to be more interesting. So, for example, this one, I think you cannot confidently say who's going to win, but I think Carlos, he knows how to kick, man. So always, maybe he doesn't have that much knockout with head kick, but it can be really dangerous. So he has.
If you're going based on their last fights, I'll go with Carlos Conduit.
Yeah, he's also 4 years younger than Matt Brown.
Yeah, that too, sure.
Yeah, Carlos Conduit, he had a break, and then he's kind of coming back, and he does, I guess he does have a little bit of youth on his side. And I'm backing Carlos to win this. I think Carlos kind of came back to get a run going and perhaps put his name out there. And I think he has the kind of fan draw with him. So people are looking to see Carlos fight, given, his fights in welterweight before, UFC was this big. So a lot of old school fans would love to see Carlos fight. And I think he might be able to get the victory over Matt Brown.
This is a good matchup.
That's a great match. It's going to be an entertaining fight for sure. And honestly, I wouldn't mind either of them taking the fight in a sense, but I think it's going to be a good one.
I think Carlos is a great example of a fighter who knows how to use his hand and his leg. Like he's always using both. You know what I mean? He's not focused on one thing. And I think that's the main reason he's been a known fighter, right? Because
exactly. He had a varied game. He had many different aspects to his game. Where at a time when he was fighting, where a lot of people were very one-dimensional, perhaps, where he was a bit more varied style. So I think he's gonna do well in this fight. I'm just hoping for a banger.
Okay, let's go to.
It's gonna be one.
Yeah, it's overall a great card.
Two other normal
main card
mentions.
Is a great.
In the main card, which is Joaquin Buckley, who is officially the 2020 Knockout of the Year recipient. He's fighting. Also, Dusan Todorovic.
I don't even know the fighter.
Dusko Thunder Todorovic. This is a fighter to look out for in 2021.
For sure.
I think he's gonna go a long way.
His opponent is also
he's undefeated as well.
Yeah, undefeated.
He's like in his last match against Townsend, we saw he's great overall. He's got great grappling, great striking, is tough. I think he's gonna, maybe outperform Buckley and Holland and the rest of these middleweights that are getting big. I think that's a fighter to look out for in 2021. Great fighter.
Yeah. I'm excited to see this fight. Both undefeated, probably. The other guy, and I'm pretty sure has something to his game. It's gonna be a banger, and it's starting off the main card with it, so it's gonna be a fun one.
Soriano also has one fight in the UFC, one finish actually. So it's gonna be a great fight for sure.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so I can't wait for this one. Holloway versus Kattar. It's gonna be on Saturday. We're on the East Coast. We're in Toronto. TO. Yeah. I don't know what I just did there.
Currently under shutdown, so
currently.
So I mean, the
whole world start is under shutdown. Anyways, they're starting very early on the East Coast. They're starting at 12 p.m., which is lunchtime. Which is it's just odd, but then it's prime time Abu Dhabi, so they're gonna have fans in the stadium, I believe.
That's a big topic. So
it's we'll get to that a little bit later, but it's gonna be Abu Dhabi prime time. Anyways, so a lot of news this week happening on Twitter, and a lot of a lot of fights being announced, and UFC 259, which is going to be taking place in March. Man, what a stacked card this is turning out to be. Now I'm gonna stop pull the pull the brakes on it by saying that they're putting this many fights on a card so that they can kind of prevent any cancellations and stuff, and not to take away from the card, but it's an insanely stacked card.
I mean, if none of the fights get canceled, I think stacked is an understatement. If no fights get canceled,
they can literally make 3 fight UFC cards out of this card.
But the main reason they did it that way in the first place is because they know it's gonna get canceled. Some people are gonna get coronavirus. Some people
even if it gets canceled, there's still at least 1 or 2 title shots, and it's amazing fights. This is insane. I can't believe this.
It's actually very possible that they might be looking at doing UFC 259 with a similar sort of setup as they're doing UFC 257 with Conor and Poirier, where they have 2 fight cards before it, sort of midweek and the Saturday before in Abu Dhabi. Maybe they have some sort of plan for UFC 259, and all these fights that have been announced that are for UFC 259 could be, for the Wednesday of that week, or for the Saturday of that week, previous Saturday of that week. It's possible they might go for that setup, considering how things are in the US.
Yeah,
I mean, if you remember UFC 251, if I'm not mistaken, it was the first Fight Island event, I think. 251,
20 gauge.
Same thing. We had 3 or 4 title fights.
4 cards, but 3 title fights in 1 card.
And the main card was just super stacked. So I mean, this is not that I mean. It could happen for sure, After that,
it's possible. Let me list all the fights that are actually going on. So we have Israel Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz, and Izzy's moving up in weight to challenge Jan for the 205 title. Then we also have Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling for the bantamweight title. That card has kind of been postponed a lot. We also have Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson added to that recently. Also another title fight for the bantamweight, females bantamweight. We have top contenders.
Mike, I think that's for the featherweight championship.
Oh, you're right. It is
featherweight.
It is. Megan Anderson is a featherweight. My apologies. Thank you.
It's for the
so after that fight, they might even scrap the featherweight division, but we'll get into that.
There's only 2.
There's nobody else for us.
We'll get to that another time. And then we have top contenders at light heavyweight: Santos versus Rakic. I don't know how you say it. Rakic, and that's also going to be a banging fight. No questions asked. We also got announced Dominic Cruz versus Casey Kenny.
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, Dominic Cruz was asking for someone probably easier, but they gave him a hard one.
Oh, yeah.
We have Islam Makhachev versus Dober. I haven't seen Dober fight a lot, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me neither.
And we also got Aldo versus Dillashaw, also kind of announced. But, none of these are fully really official in a sense.
Yeah.
But, they're kind of being worked on. So,
yeah. I think Aldo is closer to actually being announced. Aldo
versus Dillashaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. It would make sense as well. They have a little bit of beef going on. But, man, so many great fights. There is absolutely no way they'll fit all of this in one card.
Well, as we get closer, we understand. As we get closer to the date, we understand. So
I think it's gonna be another Fight Island situation with a previous card before it, where you have a headliner, probably like Aldo and Dillashaw or someone. They might headline that one. But amazing fights. Let's start off with Izzy and Yan. Mehrad's just, itching. MJ is just itching to talk about this. What do you think? Your boy's gonna become double champ?
For sure, yeah, obviously. I mean, you already know my answer. I mean,
that's what they said about.
Don't get me wrong. Jan Blachowicz, his last fight, I was actually cheering for him, and he was. I mean, that fight was just. I don't know if it was Dominic Cruz. Oh, not Dominic Cruz. Sorry.
Dominic Reyes.
Dominic Reyes. Not being himself, or Jan just completely dominated that fight, but it showed his level and what he can do. But at the same time, Izzy at light heavyweight, I don't know if you can mess around with that too much.
Well, I thought we were gonna talk about this fight later on, but.
Let's not get into too much detail. I just want MJ to get his excitement out.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm not gonna comment about it. We talk about it.
I got a few months. Don't worry, I got 2. I'm gonna go crazy.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it later. Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling has been calling out Petr Yan on Twitter, going off at him, saying, "You're dodging me. You're canceling the fights. And when are we going to fight already?" And I don't blame him. He's been waiting a while. He fought Sandhagen in July or June. And it's
Aljo, right?
Aljo, yeah.
Yeah.
Same with Jan. Jan also fought Fight Island #1, which was in July. I can't wait for this one. Again, we're not going to get into too much, about how the fight's going to pan out, but I just hope this one is made. To be honest with you. Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. Again, that division is so light. She is
Nunes gonna destroy it.
Someone's gonna bet like $1 million.
Like last time.
I wouldn't blame him. I don't see that belt coming off of her. Anytime so. I think that belt is gonna die.
That featherweight belt might be scrapped.
Dana White said to Jake Paul that Amanda Nunes can fuck you up, and that's true. I think.
For sure. She can do it with one hand.
Yeah, she almost has like a guy. So.
Yeah, definitely. She's crazy. She's probably gonna walk through that fight again, and I don't know. We'll talk about that as it gets closer and actually official. But considering that division, the featherweight division and the women's, I think it's done. I don't see anybody else. That's gonna be challenging there. And Amanda coming back to bantamweight, there's a fresh amount. There's a kind of bit of fresh blood coming through, where she has some challengers, but the only challenger really is Shevchenko.
The only challenger, And to be honest with you, she won the second fight, man.
Listen, it was close. It was very
close. When I look at that fight, it reminds me of Max Holloway and Volkanovski.
It wasn't that close.
I mean, but it's the same thing. They fought twice, and it was close twice. But second,
it sucks because when they lose twice and it's a close match, they usually don't fight again. There usually won't be a third fight. That's why.
But everybody is begging for that third fight. I think it's the fight to make in the women's both bantamweight
But you
and
never know.
flyweight division. And although Shevchenko does need to get through Andrade first, which, you know, let's say she does for argument's sake, because she will. And and what's left in the flyweight division? Either nothing. She's cleared out everyone in the flyweight division too. So it only makes sense for them to just hash it out again.
Yeah, I think there's demand for it. Definitely, there's demand for that fight.
It's another super fight that everybody's just itching to go. Santos versus Rakic. Masood, what do you have to say about this one?
Man, Santos in his last fights, oh man, he just wasn't there. Mentally, he wasn't there. He was just not ready for it. He knocked down his opponent, but man, he got choked out. This is going to be a good striking match. They're both great strikers. I hope to see different Santos in this match. I hope to see the same Santos that showed up against John Jones. And if it's that version of Santos, I think he's going to walk through Rakic. Rakic, yeah. But Rakic is a great fighter as well.
Yeah, Rakic is fighter. They both have power, lots of power.
Yeah. But I don't think he's as experienced. He's just not as experienced as Thiago Santos. Santos is on a different level, man.
Yeah, I just hope his confidence isn't too shaken.
It's gonna be
coming back from injury, his last fight.
It's gonna be a stand-up fight, back and forth kicking, non-stop kicking at each other, leg kicks. You know, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be a nice banger fight. Oh yeah. What do you guys think about Dominic Cruz versus Casey Kenny? Man, you guys know me. I don't like Dominic Cruz a lot, simply because of his commentating. Nothing to do with his fighting. He's actually a great fighter.
He's a great fighter. Yeah. He lost a lot of fans after that comment.
The McGregor comment?
Yeah. Khabib Conor fight. That, I think right there, that's when he lost at least half of his fans.
Yeah. We don't even need to say what he said. Everybody knows.
What did he say? I don't know.
He said that
Go ahead. Go for it. Khabib was just, like, dominating Conor for like the third round.
It was the second round.
I
think so, yeah.
But like 10 minutes non-stop, he's dominating. And then he says, Conor's actually trying to preserve his energy.
He said
by being like underground and under pressure. He's trying to like...
I remember that.
It was the part when Khabib was on top and he was smashing Conor in the second round. That was the most dominant round. Yeah, and Dominic is
first round and fourth round was the.
Let's not talk about that fight. Let's not talk about that.
And then he says Conor is trying to make Khabib tired.
Oh yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said. Yeah, and so that's when I lost.
And that was really dumb. Yeah, I remember.
I just lost all my respect for him right there.
Yeah, I don't think you know that much about fighting if that's your take. Yeah.
And then Joe Rogan called him on his bullshit. But anyways, let's move on.
Yeah. Anyways, he got matched up with Casey Kenny. Casey Kenny coming off of several wins in 2020, I think, and he's a tough up and coming guy. Very, very, durable. Great in the scramble. Dominic. I don't know, man. I don't know at what level he is anymore, considering his age, considering what's going on with his career and, distractions and whatnot. So I don't know what to expect from Dominic Cruz, to be honest.
I think the one problem that Dominic Cruz is going to have is that he's a good fighter, but I think it's like if you use the same, like if you always fight the same style, like the equation is going to be solved by the end of the day. So I think the way that he dodged down and the way he moves is kind of people know how to deal with it better right now. Like other fighters know how to deal with it better right now. That's why Henry Cejudo need his head, right? So anyway, it's like he has to be a little bit more creative because when you compare the two fighters, they're both good fighters, but the Casey Kenny, he's on a rise. So
yeah, definitely he's on a rise.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a stepping stone for him this fight.
No.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make Casey Kenny off Dom Cruz, and it's kind of sad to see a little bit. But at the same time, Dom's campaigning didn't work for him enough. He didn't have enough of a pull. All right, Islam Makhachev versus Dober. What do you guys think of this one?
I don't know much about Dober,
neither
but
do I.
Dober had his last win was against Alexander Hernandez. He finished Alexander Hernandez. He's a good striker. He's a great striker. I don't know much more about him. He was submitted by Benil Dariush in 2019.
Oh.
Yeah, he has 3 submission losses, one knockout loss.
Ooh, he's not coming up against a good opponent then.
Good grappler like Islam.
Islam is definitely not a good matchup for him.
I got Islam for this one.
I think it's safe to say that too.
Yeah.
Aldo versus Dillashaw. These two.
I think that's a really great fight.
Man, I'm so excited for that.
That's
that should
really
be a main
fight.
event.
That's a really
That should
great
be
fight.
a fight.
Do you guys remember? The Aldo and Chad Mendes?
Yeah.
So that I think it's gonna be a fight kind of like that. Like they're both active fighters. They move a lot. They're not lazy. They come with the volume. So it's gonna be a great fight. Maybe between all these fights that you just named, like this is one of the best.
It could be, yeah. Dillashaw's coming off of a long layoff, more than a year.
He was suspended for a couple of years. 2 years.
Yeah.
3 years. Jesus.
2 years.
Oh, 2 years.
2 years. Yeah, 2 and some months. Yeah.
Wow. Anyways, yeah, he's coming off of suspension, so yeah, I don't know that layoff how that affects him anyway. But he does have youth on his side when it comes to Aldo. But wow, this is gonna be
I think that layoff is kind of balancing out the fight. So it's gonna be more the fight is gonna be more competitive. Aldo was more active.
But he's ready. It wasn't due to any injury or anything.
No, but if you don't fight for 2 years,
ever.
Illegal substance. It was due to
there's something that's called ring rust, which doesn't necessarily affect every fighter, but it might affect some fighters.
And I don't know how crazy this sounds to you guys, but a lot of people, a lot of professionals, not just fans, we're actually saying that, TJ actually deserves a title shot, like straight away, right after he comes back. But now they're giving him to Aldo. But what do you guys think? Do you think that he would have deserved it? To go back to the title?
No. In my opinion, anyone that's coming off of a suspension doesn't deserve a title shot.
Well, absolutely not.
Straight up.
Absolutely.
Other than that, if you didn't fight for 2 years, suspension was 2 years. But like if you like since his last fight, maybe it's almost 3 years. Like if you didn't fight for 3 years, you shouldn't be in the main card or like that you get a title shot unless you really like.
He is former
even
champion.
Conor didn't get a title shot. Like
he needs at least 2 wins to even start talking about a title shot.
No, I mean, I think Aldo makes perfect sense. Like I think he would deserve the title shot if he just walks through Jose Aldo.
There's no way he walks through Jose Aldo. So.
I think either of them actually deserve the title fight after this.
Well, we said this
Aldo's been great too.
in our previous show when we were talking about Aldo, how he's actually really good and
he's impressed, for sure.
And some of the up and coming guys like Marlon that we saw, how his experience kind of basically took him through that fight, and he pretty much came out of the fight relatively unscathed, I would say, considering some of his previous fights, especially the Yan fight. But Dillashaw is coming off of 2 years. He is by no means an up and comer. He is definitely experienced. He's a former champion, has fought some fantastic fights in the UFC with Cody Garbrandt. I don't know if you guys seen those fights, man. Those fights were awesome. But it all depends on that 3 year hiatus, and how is he gonna look. Anyways, we'll get into that more when it gets announced and official, and it's gonna be a 5-rounder hopefully. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about this upcoming Fight Island and some of the logistics that's going on around it. First of all, we have fans back in the stadium. It's gonna be the Emirates Stadium. I'm usually saying that when I'm talking about Arsenal, but it's in Abu Dhabi.
No, it's actually Etihad.
So the Etihad,
it's like Man City. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Man City then. Like, anyways, they're gonna have it at the stadium. There's gonna be like roughly around 2,000 fans. Nothing too extreme. But
I mean, the capacity of the arena is way more, but
of course,
yeah, just for
yeah,
I think it's a 30,000.
Probably, yeah, minimum.
Arena. It's just smaller. It's smaller than like MGM and all those.
Yeah, it's probably
big ones.
not necessarily.
But I think it was in the 30s. 30.
But yeah, the ticket.
Finally, Connor got the crowd.
Yeah, Connor's getting a crowd. Exactly.
I think that's why the fight took so long.
He
for this one, they were talking about a few hundred people. Yeah, that's what
I think 2,000 is a lot.
Yeah, 2,000 is not a bad amount, man. We had 2,000 people in football stadiums, and they made quite an amount of noise. It was very nice to see. So 2,000.
Well, the reason behind what I'm saying is that it's not like, maybe if it was a little bit less, it was better. Is that obviously I love fans to be there too, but in case I don't want you to bring the fans, and then some shit happens, like someone spreads coronavirus or something, and then they shut it down again. Yeah. So that's my point. But at the same time, that would never happen in Dubai. Never. Because they are not as conservative as the States and Canada and stuff like that. So even if some people get coronavirus, they're not going to change the rule.
First of all, they have a completely different thing going on in terms of the coronavirus. I think almost like 80% or 90% of their population is vaccinated already. That's a completely different thing where you have no problems when you have.
And then the facilities they have to. The facilities
you have to. And also what I heard about this ticket thing is when you buy your ticket and when you're entering the arena, you have to have a 48-hour COVID test, a valid COVID test with you. Otherwise, they don't let you in.
Those tickets are going to be expensive.
And actually, they weren't.
They weren't?
Surprisingly, yeah. They were between 400 US to 1,300 US, which is not that much if you want to consider ticket prices.
Yeah, and apparently, that's
but they were reserved for
every.
Let's just put it that way.
And apparently, there's no bad seat in the house, so
well, of course, when you're fitting 2,000 people,
all tickets are.
This could only happen in Dubai. The way they are clean, the way the facilities that they have,
the whole
sometimes
world is
sometimes you see some of the stuff in Dubai, it doesn't even make sense. It's just too extra. Too costly, but they have it because they have money.
Just have too much money.
They got money, man. They got that oil.
They splash it. More importantly, a lot of people have money. They splash it.
Yeah, you see weird stuff. I've been there, like in the middle of the mall. You see this car with all diamond on it. Like, what's the point of having that there? But anyway, they have money. They do crazy shit. So.
So for the first time since March 2020, fans are actually back in attendance.
I'm excited. It's going to be great. It's going to definitely add something to the fights. It's going to add that little bit of extra. And I am kind of tired of hearing coaches and trainers a little bit, because some of them are so, I don't know, a little extra, or or I just don't understand what they're saying.
No, it's not extra. It's just how it is. So
I think
they're talking code, so we just don't understand it.
I think we're going to be able to hear the fans too if there's only a couple of thousand of them.
Fuck you, the guy says on.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, there's gonna be one guy near the microphone.
It was nice hearing the shots, the punches, the kicks.
Yeah, that was nice.
I think we're still gonna hear a little bit of that. 2001 muffle that.
It depends. If the fans are lazy guys and they don't make any noise, for sure you're gonna hear everything. But
that's true. Yeah, if it's just 1,000 sitting down.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much noise you can make with all that mask.
People are warm-blooded there.
Well, I mean, they all got masks on, so I don't know. I'm not sure how much.
They have to clap. That's
all they can. You can still make noise with a mask on. It's not a
problem.
But you're gonna get tired soon.
Yeah, I don't know how strict they are there, but in the football stadiums, people were taking the mask off and yelling. So I don't know how strict they're gonna be there.
Bro, you cannot yell for more than
kicked out or something.
Yeah, you cannot yell for more than 2 minutes. If you have the mask on, you're gonna get out of breath. So
but we're still gonna hear those calf kicks. So
this Fight Island, there's a lot of stuff happening as well. Well, I mean, we have obviously the Conor fight coming up in next the weekend after that, but also this card that's coming up, Holloway versus Kattar, is gonna be the first UFC card to be broadcasted on ABC. ABC is the American Broadcasting Channel or Broadcast Channel or something like that. And basically it's like national television, yeah, free to air kind of television, or like cable television, something that people watch at home. And it's a big deal because UFC hasn't been on this type of free TV ever, or I think the only thing that's on TV like this is their Ultimate Fighter series. But their cards and their events have never been on live TV before. So this is an exciting time. It just goes to show how big UFC is getting and how big they have become in 2020 specifically, because in 2020 obviously the whole world kind of shifted towards the online sphere and are just hungry for entertainment in a sense, or anything to consume at home, because we're all stuck at home. And the UFC has grown tremendously because of that.
Just to add to your point, not just UFC, but MMA in general. It's just the way I don't want to call
it's growing as a sport.
Yeah. I don't want to say just the casual fans. I want to say the general public. The way they're viewing MMA today is way different than what they thought about it, like 10 years ago. And everyone's more and more accepting it as a sport. They're realizing, the level of
competition,
professionalism, the level of competition, the level of respect that these fighters, demand because of all the hard work and all the training they put into it. It's not something that, you can just, if you're a tough guy, you can go get a belt, No, you have to have a certain level of,
and the fighters' personalities as well, like the
for sure, yeah.
How they are, who they are.
Can talk shit. How much you can talk shit.
It's not just about that.
Well, I'm not saying just about that, but that's
I'm talking about the whole mentality.
That is a huge part of it.
The whole mentality it takes.
That's how you promote the fight.
Yeah.
That's
what I was
done.
mostly referring to is how fighters are. Is that some fighters are like very everyday people in a sense, or they represent very everyday people, and I think that is very kind of like resonates with certain fans, that like, oh, this guy is just like you and me, this gal is just like you and me, and she's fighting and he's fighting, and doing a good job or whatever. So I think that's the part. Yeah, of course the big mouths and all those things are always an attraction, but from another point of view, the personalities that these fighters bring is very, very interesting.
Good fight too. You have to see a good fight too. If you
of course. And 2020 has been full of good fights, and they're just getting better and better, and the level of the sport is getting better and better. More younger fighters are getting into it. You have more Class A fighters, athletes getting into MMA. So yeah, it's getting so big. Anyways, on Fight Island.
While we had the topic, there's also gonna be drive-in theaters around the US that you can actually go and watch UFC 257 in your car. So it's like, it's not bad, kind of nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, before the pandemic, you could watch it in theaters, right? Some theaters would host pay-per-view events. They do it normally with other pay-per-view events as well. But theaters are closed, so I guess drive-in theaters are the way to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure, like it's every event is like 7-8 hours?
They only show the pay-per-view part, so...
Oh, okay, but still, 3 hours in your car,
But I remember in Toronto, they showed some of these big pay-per-view events in theaters. I remember we could go see the whole pay-per-view event in theaters.
Well, if you're somewhere with a nice weather like California, why not? Have some
we do have a drive-in theater in Toronto, but it's only available 6 months a year. Anyways, UFC available on ABC. That kind of rhymes, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna go with that one. A couple of times. This week on Fight Island, Khabib is meeting with Dana White.
Tomorrow,
I think,
if I'm not mistaken.
The biggest
Well,
meeting of the year. Many people are waiting for that news.
honestly, everybody just fighting, like waiting for that news, and I honestly don't think we're gonna get the resolution after that meeting.
It's gonna be unclear. It's gonna be unclear. It's not gonna be like, okay, after the meeting we know this gonna happen and that guy's gonna fight this guy. I don't think. Khabib is gonna keep Conor on his toes. That's all it is. Like, so, and
Keep
and that's
Conor
what-
or Dana?
Dana, sorry. That's what he said. That's what he said. Like, I remember in an interview, like before his Conor fight, he was like, I'm gonna fight Conor, and then 4 months later I'm gonna buy Justin Gaethje, and once Conor wants to get a rematch, Conor and Dana wants to get a rematch, I say bye bye. I remember that interview. So he's not gonna he's not, because he's not kind of a man to promise something and he doesn't make his promise. So he won't tell Dana that I'm gonna go fight Conor or something like that. I think
But stringing him along also is a troll move. I don't think he's gonna do that either.
I think the only way that Khabib is gonna come back, maybe 1 month ago or 2 months ago, I used to say GSP, but I think as the time goes, GSP is getting older, so it doesn't make sense. The only way that Khabib is going to come back is for money, and the only person that he can collect much more money is Conor, and he's the only person that kind of challenged him compared to some other fighters. So he's gonna come back to fight him only if Conor gets the belt and holds it for a couple fights. So if Conor gets the belt and just defends it at least one time, maybe Khabib comes back.
So are you saying he's gonna vacate the belt, or Conor is gonna get like an interim belt?
For sure, interim belt. He's not gonna vacate the belt. So.
No, even if Khabib vacates the belt right now, this fight is not gonna be for the belt.
Well, no.
No, it's not.
That has nothing to do with whether this fight is gonna be for the belt or not.
Yeah. I think by the time
what it is gonna do
It could.
for the division is that whatever decision Khabib comes to tomorrow or whatever during this week with Dana, it's gonna affect the future of the division, as in then what happens to Oliveira, what happens to Gaethje. Because right now it's not just Conor and Dustin. You're talking Dan Hooker, Oliveira, possibly Chandler, Gaethje. These are all the guys that are in line, in my opinion, for the top contender position.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, just to add one more thing. There was a tweet from Oliveira's manager and their team. And they were saying that we are not looking to set up a fight with Justin Gaethje, and it makes absolutely no sense for us. And they want the belt. They want
but they don't
the
get
title
to
fight.
like that.
What do you mean they don't get to choose? He just beat number 3rd.
But if Dana says if you want to go for the title shot, you have to fight Justin. He has to fight Justin. What do you mean? He doesn't have the belt. So
Masoud, what do you think? What do you think?
That's right.
I think he's earned that spot for the title shot. He's on an 8-win streak now.
Yeah, I mean, what more do you want from him?
I think his next fight should be, I guess, for interim or the actual title.
Yeah.
So what happens if tomorrow they meet and then Khabib very publicly comes out, announces retirement, vacates the belt? What happens?
It all depends to the time and hype, because there's
let's say it happens tomorrow.
Yeah,
he vacates the belt tomorrow. What's Conor and Poirier gonna do? What are they?
The winner of Conor Poirier will face Oliveira for the belt. That's what would make the most sense.
Why wouldn't Conor and Poirier fight for the belt?
They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. No way. Conor doesn't deserve to just get the belt, even though I'm a fan.
Yeah.
He just
let's give everyone at least one fight, right? Yeah. Oliveira got a fight. Let's give Conor and Dustin a fight to see who goes for the belt. It makes the most sense.
All right, let's see if we get anything out of that meeting.
The thing is, by the time, so let's say after Conor and Dustin fight, The winner goes to fight with Oliveira for the belt. By the time we get there, it's gonna be a long time gone. Maybe that fight's gonna happen in like maybe 8 months or something, right? By that time, let's say if Conor beats Dustin and he fights Oliveira, if Conor beats Oliveira, then for sure Khabib is gonna come back, right? If Conor gets submitted, because that's the only way that Oliveira can win a fight, then there's a still chance of Khabib coming back, because there's one thing that happened through Khabib career is that I'm not dissing him. I'm just saying always everyone said, okay, Tony can be a big threat because he has a great jiu-jitsu. Now you have a guy that he has a great jiu-jitsu, even better than Tony, and if he gets the interim belt and everyone starts to talk shit the same way they did, and they said, okay, Justin Gaethje, he's a wrestler, Khabib cannot take him down. Now a new argument is coming up that, okay, he can be the biggest threat to Khabib, because if Khabib takes him down, he can caught him in something, right? So if the hype goes there, then for sure Khabib comes back. It all depends to what we see in future. So
yeah. Conor wants. I think the main reason why Conor wants to get that title is because he wants to call out Khabib after. He really wants. That's what's motivating him. He wants that revenge. He wants that rematch against Khabib. I think that's his motivation. He's been there. He's already had the lightweight championship.
Masood, are you agree with me that maybe Conor he doesn't even care about belt that much?
He just wants that rematch.
Yeah, he doesn't care about the belt.
He doesn't give a shit about
He just wants the rematch.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
He wants that rematch.
There's also a possibility of Conor going back to boxing too. Just keep in mind.
Why?
Never know.
I mean, don't even joke about that. Like him and
let's
Jake
not get into that right now.
Jake Paul, it will never happen. Okay, it's a big disrespect.
No, I'm just saying,
MMA,
not Jake Paul, but I'm just saying Dana actually released the statement asking Conor. He's like, it's for your own good. You look good. You're on form. I think this is Dana telling Conor. It's like, I think you should stay in UFC for 2021, forget about boxing for a while, just focus on this. So, I mean, that's still something that could happen. I'm not saying it will.
It won't happen. Never, ever. Never, ever. The only reason that will cause you to leave MMA and do boxing is money. And he already had the biggest fight against Mayweather. So maybe, if it goes for a rematch against him, yes, but he won't fight anyone else there. Like, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, I hope he doesn't.
Anyways, Khabib, we'll see what he does, whether he retires or not. If he does retire, then it just opens up the division, and we can finally kind of move on. But right now, it's just not clear. A few shout outs. Yeah, you want to give a few shout outs?
No, I was actually gonna ask you a question before we move on from the lightweight division.
Oh yeah.
So Chandler fighting Hooker. What do you guys think? If let's say Chandler loses the fight.
Well, we all said he's gonna win.
Okay,
even you said.
Let me finish the question. Let's say Chandler loses the fight.
Yeah.
What do you guys think is next for him? Like, what happens to him?
I personally think neither of these two fighters are in a title shot. Question. Yeah,
I agree with you.
Neither of them have earned that. So Chandler needs to win a couple of 2-3 fights.
If Chandler beats Hooker, they're gonna give him Tony.
Maybe,
yeah. No. Maybe Gaethje.
Whatever happens is not a title shot. I don't think they deserve it. Yeah. Right now, the people who are in the conversation is Gaethje, Oliveira, Dustin, and Conor. These are the 4 fighters that are in the conversation.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, if he loses, what do you see next for him? Like, I know he has a contract. It's not just like goodbye UFC. But...
Sorry, who loses, Hooker or
Chandler?
Yeah.
Tony.
You give him Tony
he
either
gets another fight. He has a contract, right? Like.
Yeah.
So he gets another.
If you give him Tony either way, it works out. Think about it. If he wins, you give him Tony. If he loses, give him Tony. It would work.
Where's Justin Gaethje in the equation, guys? What do you think?
I mean, I was gonna say if he wins, why not give him Gaethje if he wins?
I personally thought Gaethje versus Oliveira was a good fight. It's a good fight. It's not fair to Oliveira, but it's a good fight. But if
he doesn't want it, Oliveira doesn't want it.
If
they publicly
Gaethje
said
wants to be in this conversation, like I don't know, like the only way he's in this conversation, I would feel like if Hooker wins, you give him Gaethje. You know what I mean? Like that would be.
Okay.
I think it makes sense if Chandler beats Hooker, it makes sense to give him Gaethje.
That's possible too. Yeah.
Because
say
they're both coming up from
win,
they're both coming up from a loss, and they're kind of on they're on the top 5 or 6. So
yeah, I think Gaethje and Ferguson are like the last building blocks to like round off a mini sort of faux tournament in a sense.
Yeah.
To get to the last man standing.
Well, who knows? Maybe by the time all these fights get done and then it goes to the next fight, maybe we have a rising star or something.
That's true. That's very true. The next
Khamzat or something. Span, so.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin Lee.
But at
Kevin Lee, come on. You're kidding me.
He said the only I'm not joking. This is serious. He was not joking.
I can't take you seriously.
I don't know if he was I don't know if he was intoxicated on something, but he actually said that if Khabib is coming back, he's coming back for me.
Really? He said that, bro? Maybe,
let's move
maybe
on.
It's a rumor or something.
But I mean,
that's a good entertainment.
Why would you say that? Like, seriously,
he wasn't serious.
Maybe he was joking, man.
I don't know. He sounded pretty serious.
Maybe his account was hacked or something, bro.
Yeah.
No, man. He was talking to.
Are you sure you're following the right guy, or maybe it was a fake page?
I heard him.
Yeah.
With
you heard
money
him?
Or
so he called you and told you, or
forget it. Just forget about that guy. Forget about that guy. Let's move on to another guy that we should forget about, but yet MJ wants to bring him up. Johnny Walker.
Oh my God.
Johnny Walker has been scheduled to fight.
We leave it to
Walker.
We leave it to Mara. Mara, go ahead. It's all yours.
March 2021. Johnny Walker returns. Jimmy Crute. It's tough for him. I mean, his last fight, I don't. Yeah, I can't.
What do you think?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
I can't keep a straight face. But yeah, that last fight was not impressive. I mean, he did win, but
guys, to all our viewers, so a while ago, maybe it was 1 year ago or something. So one day, Meha told me like, okay, UFC fight night. It's like this guy is fighting Johnny Walker. He's the beast. He's gonna beat everyone. He's perfect. And I'm like, okay, this guy's the real deal, right? And Mero was like, maybe he comes even beats John Jones. So
he was fighting Corey Anderson at that time.
No. He was fighting. Yeah. That fight that I'm talking about. He was fighting Romero. So he got knocked down the first round.
He was fighting Corey Anderson.
Corey Anderson.
No, Corey Anderson. Romero's
the middle.
Yeah. Light heavyweight Corey Anderson.
Yeah. And then he got knocked down the first round. He got knocked out the first round. I was like, oh my God.
I mean, let's not forget.
He got knocked out by Corey Anderson. The guy was not even known for knocking people out.
Back then, first of all, in my defense, back then, the hype train was real. Just
but what caused you to say that he's
the hype train was pretty real back then. Plus, let's not forget, he's still 27, 28?
He is young. What really bothers me is
but he is young, but I don't think he's got a chin left. I mean, the guy drops like.
And even his last fight wasn't that.
I mean, John Jones was
terrible. He almost lost.
John Jones.
You can't fight like that and expect to make it.
And what they gave him, Jimmy Crute, is a killer, absolute killer.
Yeah, if that fight goes to the ground, he's done.
No, man. Even in the stand-up, Jimmy is better.
Let's see. I mean, Johnny Walker can always surprise you. Don't forget that. In a good way or a bad way. I mean, the guy injured himself after a fight.
But what? That makes it interesting for you? Like, he just focus on the fight itself, bro. I don't know.
Let's not
But
forget
it's gonna be an interesting fight. It's definitely gonna be an interesting fight.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy Crute is
on the 10 second, he's gonna get knocked out. Just imagine.
Someone-
I'm gonna call Mera and laugh my ass off.
Someone does Johnny Walker surprise you too, Simon?
Let's not forget his finishes though. Some of them were actually crazy.
Like, Johnny Walker returns. He's not even a former champion. He's just a bro.
No, he returns in 2021.
This is the room with the big guys, bro. We
Okay,
don't talk about the small guys.
let's round out the conversation. Let's which fight each of us is looking forward to the most? Masood?
Right now I'm gonna go with Connor versus Dustin.
Of course.
MJ?
I'm gonna say Max Holloway, because I want to see, because I know the belt is gonna be in his future. It's a matter of when, not if. So he's gonna get that belt. I just can't wait to see him like back in that title fight. This is his first non-title fight after what, 4 years?
Yeah, it's possible.
So yeah, I just want to see him back in that title
Winning
fight.
ways.
So it's just
Sam, what about you?
Yeah.
I know you're not looking forward to the Connor fight, so what are you looking forward to?
It's
Johnny Walker.
Well, it depends how you look at it. If you're looking at the fight itself and you see how like, if you think the fight is gonna be interesting, no. But in point of the important, like how important the fight is, like the most important fight is Pure and Connor. So that's why I'm choosing that fight.
Also Chandler Hooker. I want to see how Chandler does.
Yeah, I gotta
It's
say,
really- oh my God. What's yours, Manny?
I'm very excited for obviously the Connor fight. Like I want to see how that plays out.
So are we doing another video before the fight, or this is the last one?
Yeah, next week we have a Wednesday fight card. So if all goes well, we're gonna be doing 2 shows next week, on a Tuesday, on a Thursday. We'll see how that goes.
That means you all have to press like twice, guys.
Yeah, twice.
Subscribe, like, Twitter, all that good stuff.
But yeah, let's leave off with that. This was this week's show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, get in the comments, tell us which fight you're looking forward to the most in 2021 or in Fight Island that's coming up. We'll see you guys next week, hopefully twice, with all the preview, review, and hype that's gonna be coming with Fight Island.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for following us. For sure, press the like button. Press all the buttons.
All that good stuff down below. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
MJ is our Twitter.
It's not difficult to do. It's not difficult to do. We do it every day in Instagram.
24/7.
Ask us questions on Twitter, and we're gonna show the tweets on the shows.
Yep, for sure. All right. Thanks from all of us here at 4-5 Fans. Take care. Bye bye.
Cheers.
Thank you.